Hello, dear friends and colleagues. Today I come to talk to you about an issue that is very important for all interpreters that go and work in person somewhere in the world that is far away from where they live. In other words, I want to talk to you about long-haul travel for interpreting services. It is very important to do this because it has a lot of implications. Some of them have to do with interpreter compensation, others are interpreter preparation, and also interpreters' readiness, relaxation, rest, well-being, and health. It is very important when you are asked to do this kind of work to make it very clear to the client what it is that you need. Number one, once you know the destination, you have to figure out how long will it take you there. If it's going to take you more than a few hours and perhaps overnight or even longer, you have to decide how to negotiate with the client. The rule is that if interpreting is going to take one day or most of the day, it's a day when you're not going to be able to work somewhere else, and therefore you have to include that in your invoice. In other words, you have to charge your client for those traveling days. So if I'm going from point A to point B, and it's going to take me one day to get there, and then after the service, one day to get back, I have to charge for 2 extra days on top of the days of the interpreting service itself. That is very important. Secondly, you have to make sure that the client understands that your charging and your conditions have to be the best possible ones for you to be able to do a good job. In other words, when it's going to be a long trip, you want to be in the best possible physical and mental shape when you get to the place where you're going to interpret. For that reason, I suggest, and I always negotiate with my private clients, to get me an airplane or a train ticket in first class or business class at the least. That is very important. And I know that this is more expensive, and clients oftentimes will say, well, why do you want such an expensive ticket? I am not willing to pay it, or I don't have a budget. The answer is very simple. We are going to get there, and we're going to get there to do a very exhausting work. And for that, we have to be in optimal shape. And for that, you gotta tell the client. Your other option would be to send me there 2 or 3 days ahead of time, so I have time to rest. And then I have to charge you for all those days. So when you put together all the days that I would have to get there ahead of time versus getting me a business class airplane or train ticket, they will immediately realize that it's better to get you the ticket than to pay for so many days. Also, the other thing that you have to make them aware of is the fact that even if you get there, let's say 2 or 3 days earlier, so you have a chance to rest, well, you may have a chance to rest, but it's not going to be the same. It's not the same to rest after being 12, 14, 20 hours sitting in a small confined space on a plane than to rest on an airplane seat that turns into a bed, or in a bed compartment or dormitory on the train. You have to explain to the client also that it is very important that you're able to rest and sleep when you are traveling because of jet lag. So it is very important, because even though you might recover physically with 3 days rest, it's going to be very difficult to recover from the jet lag. On the other hand, if you continue to sleep and keep your regular habits in preparation for the trip, when you're sleeping on the plane, it's going to be so much more easier. The issue perhaps is the clients that, such as international entities and government agencies, and they will tell you that they won't pay for a business class ticket. In that case, you have to accept what they are getting. You try to get the best possible economy seat, like economy plus or preferred economy or premium economy or whatever it may be called, and then use all the frequent flyer miles that you have accumulated throughout other trips to upgrade to a business class seat. That is very important. In some occasions where the job is so crucial, I have even paid from my own pocket for the upgrade. And again, even if you do that, you can always transfer the cost to the client, maybe perhaps on their fees instead of as a separate expense, and that way compensate. Okay, the second thing that you have to do is that you have to make sure that during the long haul trip, you're going to be productive during those travel days. That is, that you're going to be able to prepare for the assignment, study for the assignment, review documents, communicate and all that. And for that, it's very important to be in a first class or business section of the train or the plane to be able to do all these things so that you can work, you can relax, and you can get ready and rest for the assignment. And finally, the last thing is that you have to really avoid being worn out for the trip. So on the flight or on the ride, you have to take care of yourself by really wisely planning your schedule so that you have time to eat, time to sleep, time to rest, time to relax, time to study, time to work, and you can do all that on these long trips. That is very important. The first thing you have to do is when you get to the airport or the train station, you gotta go to the airline or the train line private club, because in there you can relax, you can eat, and you can work. You can have video or telephone conferences in the privacy and peace and quiet of that place. Then once that you're on the train or on the plane, you have to get on board, you have to get to your seat. I always suggest you get a window seat because in the configuration of these wide body airplanes, you have one seat on each end and then two seats in the middle, and I rather have the one that is only one seat. So you get there, you relax, then after that you will probably eat. You pick something that is not very spicy but that is very tasty, and some airlines have really good food. It's okay to have a glass of wine or one cocktail before you eat because it's a very long time that you're going to be on the plane. And then after that, because they try to do that as soon as you get on the plane, I would relax for a while, maybe read a magazine, watch a movie or watch a TV show, or answer some emails if you have access to internet on the flight. And then after that, it would probably be, in my case, time to sleep. I would make the seat bed, or if I'm in a train dormitory cabinet, I would get to my cabinet and sleep well for a while. And then after you have rested and you're fresh again, you get up, you freshen up, and then either you have breakfast right away, or if there's time before breakfast, I would work for a little while. I would pull out my computer, review glossaries, terminology, the schedule, maybe answer some emails if I am able to do that because of internet accessibility, and get ready. Then you have your good breakfast, you rest and relax more, and once that you land, then you're ready to hit the ground running. Now, to me, the best thing to do once that you land, after you clear immigration and customs and all that, is always to go back to the airline club or to the train club and take a shower, freshen up, change clothes, get on better clothes, because the suggestion is that you wear comfortable clothes while you are on the plane or train for these long trips. So it is very good, and it's a great idea to take a shower and show up to the clients, maybe that they went to greet you at the airport, or that they will meet you at the hotel as soon as you get there, in better shape, with better clothes, and shaved or with your hair combed and all washed and all cleaned up. The other thing is that sometimes that might not be possible because the club is before you clear customs and immigration, and once that you did that, it's impossible to go back. In those cases, I would suggest that if your trip is not a direct flight, but you're taking a two-leg flight, on the first one, when you do the transfer, you get yourself plenty of time in between flights, so you can go to the club there and then take the shower and get ready, and then just change and be ready before you get on the second flight that is usually a little bit shorter, so that when you get to your destination, you are all set and ready to go. In this case, because when you have connecting flights, you don't have to clear customs and immigration, you will have access to the club while you are waiting without having to do this. Anyway, I think those are very important things that we have to do. Again, rest, sleep, try to sleep horizontally every time you can. Shower, eat well, eat stuff that is going to allow you to sleep, relax, eat good food, and also work so that you can take advantage of your time on the plane. Usually the clubs and the planes are great to do all these things, and I would really suggest that you do it. Have some good food, have some good rest, have some good work, have some good quality time, take care of your health, take care of your service, and always travel this way if you can. At least that is my opinion. Thank you very much.